What's up, everybody? Phillip here. Today I decided to make a video on how to change the oil on your Kubota tractor if you have one. I got a L3901, so it's been a while since I changed the oil in it, so it's pretty well due. So I'm going to show you how to do it today. And if you don't have one, and you end up getting one, so this is a perfect video for you to know how to change your oil when you have to do it. One other step you might want to do before you even start changing your oil is raise up your bucket, because your bucket's in the way. You're just going to be fighting it. So just raise it up and lock the bucket. And I always put I put a board underneath just in case, you never know. So I lock the bucket and it should be good to go. It's definitely not going to be in the way anymore. We have easy access. See, now we have easy access to the side of the Kubota, so we can easily get to everything. Alright, some things that you're going to need. First of all, you're going to need a 19 metric socket to unloosen the 2 drainage bolts. On this Kubota tractor, there are 2 drainage bolts, one on each side. So I'll show you exactly where those are. And then you'll need a drain pan for the drain or the oil to drain out of into the pan. And then you're going to want to get your oil and your oil filter. And I highly suggest getting a long funnel, because if you don't, you're going to have to end up taking a little grill off the side of your engine just so you can get your funnel in there. And if you just have a long funnel with the long nozzle, it really helps, so you don't have to do that. That's one less step you got to deal with. All right, so if you're wondering where everything is on your tractor for changing your oil, on the right side of the engine, you have your oil filter, and right above it in this hole right here is where you fill the oil. And there's a little cap in there. I don't think you can see it because it's too dark, but when we go to drain our oil, we'll want to loosen this cap just so, to release the vacuum pressure in the engine. All right, now you may be asking, where's the dipstick on this tractor? Well, they do a pretty good job of hiding it. So on the left side of the tractor, you can see there's a little dipstick on the side, and you can pull this out to check the oil on your tractor when you fill it. So when I reference to that, that's where that's at. They do a really good job of hiding it, but that's okay. We found it. All right, now we're going to drain the oil, and we want to drain one side at a time. So I start with the right side. Make sure your cap is loosened on your oil cap, and then we will undo the bolt on the side here. All right, we have this loosened, and what we want to do is we want to make sure that there's a nut on the back of this bolt, and we want to make sure that when we loosen it and get the oil out here, that you don't lose that washer. See the washer there? It's right on the back side. We'll just make sure we don't lose that. All right, set this off to the side. All right, now that this side is drained, we're going to put the bolt back in. Make sure your washer's in there. I'm going to tighten this up. Slide this over to the other side, and that's why we put a plastic mat down, because I always somehow manage to get oil everywhere. Don't know what it is. All right, then we're going to tighten the bolt back up. All right, and then we're going to move to the other side. Okay, now we go to the other side, and this side, we'll loosen this up too. There we go. We'll get our pan ready. This side drained too. Then we'll put the bolt back in. We'll move over to the filter. Okay, now we're going to change out the filter. I don't think any way you do this, you're going to get oil on the everywhere on the axle. So, you know, like I said before, put like a drop cloth down or some plastic because it's going to go no matter what. So we'll loosen the oil filter. Make sure you have your new one handy. Let's see. Yeah, see, it's going to start running down. That's okay. That's why we have a tarp underneath. Actually, so far it's going right into the oil pan, so it's actually doing pretty good. All right, so we'll let this drain. And in the meantime, grab your oil filter, unwrap it, and you're going to take some new oil and you're going to lube the O-ring. All right, now we're going to take the new filter and we're going to make sure you don't cross thread it. Just hand tighten it on. Make sure none of these hoses are in the way. Make sure you don't cross thread it. Spin it on. Now once it gets snug, we're going to hand tighten it, quarter turn, or about a half turn. You don't want to tighten it too tight because when the engine starts up, it's going to have a vacuum seal, and you don't want it to have too much of a seal on this because it'll seal up itself. What we need to do is we need to get some oil. We're going to take off the oil cap. We're going to set this off to the side, don't lose it, and let's go get some oil. All right, I always like to check the book just to make sure we have the right oil and the right amount. So it says it'll take 7.1 quarts or 6.7 liters for the oil capacity. I got one of these containers, and this is a 2-quart container. So I'm going to fill this up 3 times, and then I'm going to check the oil, and then I'll add as needed. So see how this long funnel comes in handy. If you had a shorter funnel, it's just going to be harder to get in. So we can just start pouring this in. You know how this goes. I'm going to do this 3 times, then check it, and then I'll top it off. All right, we added oil. I put about 6.5 quarts in, and we're going to put our cap back on, and we're going to check the dipstick, and we're going to turn our tractor on for a minute and let the oil cycle, and then we're going to shut it off and then check the dipstick again and see what our oil level is to see if we need to add any more oil. All right, we started our tractor and we shut it off after a couple seconds, and we're going to check the dipstick. We'll pull it out, wipe it off, and then we're going to push it back in and pull it back out. We're going to check it. That looks pretty good. It's about 3/4 of the way up on the full line. So I think we're pretty much set. All right, that's pretty much how you change the oil in your Kubota L3901. So if you like this video, hit the like button. If you have any questions, comment down below. If you're not subscribed, subscribe already. Come on, do it. I'm Phillip Bridges, and I'll talk to you later.